Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Glen Kuiper Show on my YouTube channel for a Tuesday night, as it is the second night and day of the winter meetings. And we're going to talk about that. Got two great guests tonight. They've been on before. I love these two guys. We have a lot of fun. Marty Lurie and Eric Romo. They'll be joining me in just a moment, and we will check on all the new things that are going on with the Giants. Giants haven't made a deal yet. We'll see what the guys think about that. And a couple big deals were made today, again, at the winter meeting. So maybe that will open up the logjam just a little bit. So we'll introduce those gentlemen in just a moment. But I have to let you know that the Glen Kuiper Show is brought to you by Partners Capital, a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite performance and lasting peace of mind. Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning, steady guidance, and a clear path forward. Your partner for a stronger financial future. It's Partners Capital. Call them at 1-888-702-7743. We're also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team. They've been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service dating all the way back to 1978. So contact Mike Carrick today. He's going to give you a free home sale or purchase consultation. Call 925-548-4132. It's the Carrick Real Estate Team. They will guide you home. And we're also brought to you by Tilden Properties. As an investor, one of the best places to put your money is California's multi-family real estate. Bay Area-based and family-owned, Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. TildenProperties.com is the website. Go check it out for their portfolio or call them at 925-209-8558. All right, it's time now to bring in my guests. We are going to talk a ton of baseball tonight. That's what we like to do. Marty Lurie, my good friend Marty Lurie. Of course, he has the terrific podcast on his YouTube channel, Marty Lurie and Friends. And Marty, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you. And boy, this is something else. Watching these couple of days unfold, and every time I go to Twitter, I'm waiting to see what the Giants have done, and not yet. But they do have an open spot on the 40-man, so we know that's getting filled. So they will leave with 40 guys on it. Trust me.
Yeah. And Eric Romo is our guest as well. Eric has his show, Giant Sports Talk Live.
Yes, sir.
I love talking to both you guys. And quiet winter meetings. But I think it's interesting. The Giants have done some pretty cool stuff outside of player transactions. And I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on a couple things, starting with Jeff Kent being a Hall of Famer. I thought that was great news. Marty, did you think, or do you think that Jeff Kent is indeed worthy of being in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, absolutely. I've said it for years. That he is a quality baseball player. He, with Bonds and were the face of the franchise, really, from 97 to 2002 and all the good years they had. You look at the numbers, he's a second baseman. I think of Dwayne, your brother, and what a great second baseman he was. Well, he's 370 home runs behind Jeff Kent. I mean, seriously. I mean, Kent drove in 100 runs 8 times, 30 homers, all as a second baseman. And the thing about the Hall of Fame is, they have categories. If Jeff Kent was a third baseman or a left fielder, you wouldn't think about it. You'd be thinking about Dwight Evans and people like that. But as a second baseman, he did things that nobody else did. And he was a good fielder, but he was a guy who came to play. If he struck out, he put the helmet on home plate, went out to his position. And he was the essence of what that ball club really was all about. So I'm thrilled for him. I think he deserved it. And I think when you look at what he accomplished as a second baseman, there is no doubt in my mind that he is worthy of being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well put. Eric, what are your thoughts on Jeff Kent in the Hall of Fame?
It's great that he got in there. And, and this is something I forgot to ask you about this, Marty. Does it hold a little bit more weight that you get voted in by your peers? You got 6 Hall of Famers out there that voted for him to get in there, right? He had to get at a minimum of 12. So you had to get a majority of those Hall of Famers to sit there and say, you know what? Yeah, he deserves to be in the Hall. So I think there's something special to that. Now, I think he probably should have got in a little bit earlier than having to go to the committee, but that is something, right? When you got the executives, and I think the baseball writers, I think there's only two of them. And then you had like one historian, and then again, it's the Hall of Famers that are saying, you know what, Jeff, you belong in the Hall of Fame. And I think that's something special. I think that's something that he should be able to hold on to and go, you know what? It took a little while, but hey, this is worth it. My guys had my back.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because he got 14 of the 16 votes. But when you look at this committee, the way it was put together, as I've said many times, you're looking at Ozzie Smith, you're looking at Alan Trammell, you're looking at Robin Yount, you're looking at Tony Perez, you're looking at Jim Cott, and others that I'm just, not listing right now. So when those guys tell you, yes, you're a Hall of Famer, it means something because those guys told Bonds and Clemens and Sheffield and Fernando, you're not a Hall of Famer. And I think that's a great point, Eric. It's very significant, the people on the committee and who spoke up for him, because no one was going to, Artie Moreno wasn't going to convince, Juan Marichal or Jim Cott. These guys were going to be the deciding. If they gave the stamp of approval to somebody, they were getting in. So, yeah, great point. Great point.
I think the thing too is, you look at his numbers and they're terrific, right? I went through them last night. 2,461 hits. He had 560 doubles. So we can go on and on about the statistics, and they're terrific. I think what makes it kind of special, you guys, for Giants fans, is if you look at his career, he finished in LA and he had some good years with the Dodgers. He had a couple good years with Houston, but his best years were his 6 years in a Giants uniform. And I went through them last night and just threw out the home runs, RBIs, and doubles and batting average. It's almost like, wow, he was even better than I remember him being offensively. And he was such a good hitter. And I think that's pretty cool that his 6 best years were no doubt in the orange and black. And how can you not forget, he and Bonds together? But man, he was good. And was he surly? Yes. Was he friendly? No. Did he care that he wasn't friendly? No. But every day, man, he showed up. And I agree with Marty. He was a better defensive second baseman than people think. The analytics maybe not backing him up on that, but we watched him every day. And he was a pretty good second baseman. Didn't have a lot of range, but got to balls right at him, turned the double play well, and then what he did offensively, obviously, but he was not a negative defensive player. I thought he was maybe slightly above average defensively, and there were some things that he did really well. And the fact that we got to see probably his 6 best years, I think makes it really special.
Well, when you look at, I heard this number the other night, that when you look at all the games played by second baseman, he's like 6th all time. Wow. Now, how about that? And as I said, I introduced him at a Cal banquet once. So I was lucky enough to MC that banquet, and he was the guest of honor. And I looked up the stuff just like you did, Glenn. And he had participated in over 1,200 double plays during his time. You see, he was overshadowed on the national level by Bonds.
No question. Absolutely.
Because Bonds was the guy. And when Bonds with the home runs and Bonds with the MVPs and Bonds with this and that, it was all Bonds. So Kent was quiet and he didn't get the national recognition. And I think that's kind of why he stayed so long on the ballot without getting in from the writers. He just never had that national buzz about him. But for me, 97 was, I started in 96. And 97 was the first year I remember going to Candlestick. And if you remember, the Giants had a tremendous September run that year, if my memory is correct. And for the first time in my life, I was new. I was a lawyer, and I'm now involved with baseball. I don't know anything. I'm just watching, really. And I watched this guy in September, the way he played ball and what he did to that ball club to will it through September. And I learned at that time, I said, September baseball is different. And this guy showed it to me. So I think it's great. I think he gets a statue now. As someone said here, jokingly, bake that dough, cookies. He's smoking his cookies here. Can we get a Hall of Fame Jeff Kent truck statue on the port walk? I'll donate. Hey, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's getting a statue.
Yeah.
And what would it look like? I like the picture of him kind of with the swing over the plate, maybe going the other way. You know, that classic Jeff Kent, let me drive in the run kind of swing. But he's getting a statue.
He had such a great swing. I mean, you know, he didn't get fooled a lot. Short swing, direct to the ball. And, you know, you see a lot of highlights of him the last couple of days. And, man, that swing comes back to you. And, man, he was so good in the clutch, too. And if you think about it, Bonds third, him fourth. I mean, that's like the perfect combination, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just perfect. You got a great clutch hitter. He didn't strike out a lot. I looked up his strikeout percentage in his career, guys, 16%. And now the major league average is 22.5. So
Man, he's a second baseman.
Yeah.
And Dwayne was a great second baseman. There were so many great second basemen. This guy was a second baseman and has the most home runs. He's got without going through all the numbers again, but he did it as a second baseman, not as a left fielder, not as a third baseman or a first baseman. So as a second baseman, you get Sandberg and Alomar and, you know, people like that. You remember them. They were flashy. They were this and that. This guy did it all as a second baseman, and he totally deserves to be in.
Yeah. And I'm happy for him. And you know what? I think, listen, I mean, there was just something about, you know, he wasn't friendly to people, but man, you really liked him because of the way he played and how hard he played. And I think you hear a lot of that from his teammates now, Rich Aureli and Billy Miller, guys that played with him. And that's what they talked about, what a gamer he was. And man, that carries a lot of weight in a clubhouse and in a dugout. And I think it showed.
Yeah. And, you know, Bonds was not friendly. You know, Henry Schulman has.
What do you mean? Come on. He was friendly.
Bonds was impossible to deal with. Kent was not. Kent was a pleasure in a way. I mean, you know, you talk to him, you talk ball with him. He was accommodating. In his second career of being an assistant with the Giants in spring training, he was always accommodating. He did a lot for women's sports at Cal. He's a decent guy. Yeah, he was not a problem. So I just think the Giants fell into clover here because they get to celebrate Jeff Kent all year long, and he gets a statue. Mm-hmm. He does. They get to market this all year long and for the next couple of years, and it came at the right time for the Giants.
Yeah. And how about Brian Sabian, right? Under his watch, he's going to have a manager inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's going to have a player that he drafted in the Hall of Fame. He's got a player that he traded for to going to be in the Hall of Fame. Yep. Marty, you talked about it on the show. He's not an idiot, is he? Brian Sabian is not an idiot.
When that Matt Williams trade went down, and you know the place went nuts. Ralph Barbieri went crazy. KMBR went nuts. The fan base went crazy. Matt Williams, my God, Matt Williams for Jeff Kent, and he was right. And for Sabian, maybe this does boost Sabian up. I frankly, I think Sabian should be a Hall of Famer. I really do. He's in the Dave Dombrowski class, you know, that class of building teams. But his essence was so true baseball that he deserves it.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, listen, Sabes was great, man. And you know, they were and he wore a loss, man, on his sleeve. If they lost the game and you saw him walking toward you in the hall, you kind of like went the other way because he didn't like to lose, man. And there was something endearing about that because you knew he took it serious. So hey, let's switch.
I'm going to say one thing about Sabian. When they won the World Series, he cried.
Oh, absolutely.
That moment on TV, you talk about a baseball moment. So yeah, Sabian Sabian deserves all the credit in the world for putting that team together and for his era, which was terrific.
All right, something else happened last week, which I thought was really cool. And Ron Washington is going to be a Giants coach, defensive coach. He'll be in the dugout. Marty, I know you go way back with Wash. I was with him with the A's for a long time. And Eric, I mean, this guy is awesome, right? But at 73 years old, you're thinking, well, is he slowing down? No. I know he's had some health issues, but this is a guy, he's a baseball lifer. He loves the game, and he's still got a lot to give. So I thought it was an interesting move. I thought it was interesting that Zach Managian said it was actually brought up by Tony Vitello, the idea of, hey, what about Ron Washington? And so it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. But he joins the coaching staff, and for all of us who have been around him, I think it's great, and it'll be fun to see how he interacts with, Vitello and the younger guys on this coaching staff. But it's hard to say it's not a good move when you get Ron Washington in there.
No, Ron Washington is the best pickup the Giants have made so far.
You may be right. You may be right.
And you can put it on the screen, because he's right, who RJM 0021. Wash is the best. He had the triple bypass and whatever he had, and hopefully he's okay from that. I'd make him the third base coach if he's up for it. If he's up
for it too, yeah. I don't know. It's not like they're going to do that, but I thought about that too, Marty, because he was a pretty good third base coach with the A's.
Come on, we always said, not me, but everyone would say he coached third base with a rabbit's foot in his back pocket. Remember? Come on, Glenn, you saw him. You saw it.
He wasn't afraid either.
He sent guys, but a great third base coach. It's like, whoa, it was like having the shortstop on the field at that time, seeing everything and knowing the relays and seeing the game. It was like that's the way Woe coached third and Flan coached third. They were playing the game at the same time, and Wash did that. But it means a lot that he'll work with infielders. Who knows what the second base situation is going to be able to work with Devers. Heck, he made a first baseman out of Hatterberg, for Moneyball. It's easy to play first. And Wash say, sure, Billy, why don't you try it? So you got Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
Yeah, you got Wash in there. And then if he's in the dugout, it's cool. Because, as I've said before, Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker, all these people are window dressing for Vitello. But if Wash is actually in the dugout, like Don Zimmer was for Joe Torre, if Wash is there for those critical moments, he's going to be a big help. Yeah. And I guess Zach's brother Perry, who's the general manager of the Angels, had Wash as the manager there. And if there was any real problem, Perry would have told Zach, and Zach probably wouldn't have him in there. So I think he's got the seal of approval. He's going to be great with he made gold glovers out of Tejada, out of Chavez. He begged Upton, the kid, the infielder, to work with him in New Orleans. And Wash is just a giving guy, and he's all baseball. Mm-hmm. And Albies and that whole crowd for Atlanta, he helped them. And the best part is talking to him. Well, come on, it's like talking to us. You get Wash on the show. Wash tells you what's on his mind. There's no filter.
Yeah, you got catching him in the dugout way, way, way before the game, early to mid-afternoon. That's the best time.
When you're on the road, you're on the road. When you're home, you're home.
You're out.
That's Wash had. I'm telling you, it's a pleasure to have him around. It's the best thing they've done so far.
Eric, what are your thoughts on Ron Washington?
And it's great because he just had an interview recently, right? Talking about you got to have the scrubs, right? You got to have the scrubs to help the superstar. I was just like, I love it. And to your point, Marty, the guy will tell you how he feels. And I remember, Glenn, this was about a month or two ago. We were talking about one of the best baseball guys that you ever dealt with, and you mentioned Ron Washington. Yeah. I mean, there you go. I mean, it just goes to tell you don't hear any bad word being talked about Ron Washington. And Marty, you list off the names, I'll throw out Marcus Semien. he worked with Marcus. He allowed Marcus Semien to get that big contract, right? He worked with how many errors did he have in that 1 year with Oakland? It was like,
Ben, you saw that one.
Yeah. He was not ready to play shortstop in the big leagues, but he did for a whole year. But then Wash got a hold of him, and they worked really hard. And Marcus turned out to be an excellent shortstop. And I don't want to say it happened quickly, but some guys never turn the corner. But with that constant work Marcus did with Wash, whatever it was, man, he turned Marcus into an excellent defender. And are we going to see
Ron Washington with his headphones in and getting on the field and doing the boogaloo? Man, he gets down, man, when he's out there. I love it.
He'll be on the backfield at 7 a.m. With the pancake glove, working these infielders, and it's gonna be it's gonna be fun to watch him work with Adames, to see what Adames.
And you know what? I think too. We're talking infielders. First basemen are infielders. He could do a lot for Devers and for Eldridge. I think that's a big deal because you think about Wash, you think about middle infield. No, he's got it all covered.
He made Giambi. He made Giambi an acceptable first baseman, and Hatterberg he made. So he's done it. He has done it. It's a good move. Good move. Good move.
All right. Next one happened just a little while ago. I thought it was really interesting, you guys. It was the draft lottery today for Major League Baseball. They've been doing that for 3 years now, I guess. And the Giants, if you went just by record, okay, like they used to do, the Giants would have picked 15th. Mm-hmm. Well, they went into the lottery and they came out with the 4th pick in the draft.
Incredible.
Just pretty amazing if you really think about it. The 4th pick in the draft. So, that just happened late this afternoon. So the Giants will pick 4th in the upcoming Major League Baseball draft. White Sox are 1st, Rays are 2nd, Twins are 3rd, and the Giants are 4th. So you can't screw up the pick. And the Giants have had some struggles with their first round picks in the last 12 to 15 years outside of Ramos and Bailey, but it's the 4th pick, and this could be a significant thing, you guys. What do you think?
Oh, I think it's huge. Huge. Joey Bart was a 2nd pick, and that was a stretch. They could have had. Well, they were thinking Jonathan India, which wasn't that great either. But you're talking college players now who are on another level. Yeah. These good college players. Washington's got a couple of them. You get Skeens, a guy like that. The top 4, you get maybe the best high school player in the draft, or you get the top college player who's ready to contribute. Yeah. And you get the kid from last year from Tennessee, the 2nd baseman, and now maybe you get lucky. You get a guy like Kurtz or something like that. You get Caglione from Kansas City. You get lucky with one of these guys. It's huge. Yeah. It's like making a trade, and they will not screw this up. They're going to get a quality college player. I don't think they're going to fool around with a high school player. They're going to get a guy who can walk into that outfield and play the outfield.
Yeah,
and they got the right guy as the manager to know who would be the best college guy to get. Right. So that and look what the Giants have. Right. Let's start with Eldridge. You got Eldridge. Right below him, you got Josar Gonzalez. In January, it looks like the Giants are going to be picking up Luis Hernandez, who everybody is raving about. And now you're going to have that 4th round pick. So the Giants could be cooking with some gas here in a couple of years, right? I mean, if all of them pan out. But hey, look, 4th pick, man, you can't ask for anything better. And look, here's another thing. It goes to show you don't have to tank. You just have to have a lot of luck.
Yeah,
with the lottery, you don't have to tank.
Does that mean they pick 4th in every round?
No, you know what, Marty? That's a great question, and I thought about that, and I looked it up, and no, the lottery and the where you pick, it only is in the 1st round, and then after the 1st round, it goes to by your record.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that too. I was like, wait a minute. That means they're going to get. I mean, they're going to pick very high in every round, but that's not the case. It's just in the 1st round. So, anyways, good question. And, I think a lot of people were thinking, wait a minute, they're going to have pick number 4 and then pick number 40 and pick number, but that's not the case. But I agree. I think it's a significant thing. I really do. And we'll see. But you can't screw it up. You got to get somebody that's going to help you and help you soon.
Yes.
Even a pitcher too, Marty. I mean, these kids now in college, they're close, man.
Yep.
You get the best college pitcher who's closest to the big leagues.
You're getting one of them. You're getting one of them.
Nothing's for sure. And you just, with the troubles they've had with these first round picks, this one has to go. This has to be a good one, because you do have, as Eric said, a pretty good group down in the lower minor leagues, but they're working their way up, So yeah, this is a big deal. So we'll see. Keep our fingers crossed.
It's a great moment. That's a big deal.
Yeah. So let's go to the winter meetings, guys. Quiet so far for the Giants. Really, I mean, a couple big signings today, which we are going to talk about, but it hasn't been crazy at all. As we figured, Giants heavy into the pitching market, and no surprise there. I still think, guys, I think they're going to make a significant pitching move or a significant pitching trade. Now, when I say significant, could be one of the big guys, or it could be a big trade. The outfield situation, I've said all winter, I think they need to make some changes there. That I'm still interesting to see what they do. But the thing here too, guys, is you have to really separate rumor from reality with these winter meetings, because I think all these rumors we read, I'm guilty of it. You guys are guilty of it. I check X anything going on, but a lot of times the reality is the Giants aren't looking at any of these people that people say they are, and they may have their eyes on people that we're not even hearing about. So that's kind of the hard part, but it's also the fun part, because I love looking at the rumors. It makes you immediately think. But what do you guys think is going to happen in the next couple of days with the Giants? Do you see something happening there? Or, I mean, it doesn't mean that it couldn't happen 2 weeks from now, but they are all together, the general managers.
Well, I'll start just very quickly. Eric can jump in. History tells us that the majority of the free agents signed by the end of December. And as I said the other day, you have the Harpers and the Machados of the world, and maybe a couple others that went into spring training. But generally, the signings take place by the end of the year, and that's been the history. So I assume we're going to see that. The Giants have said they're not spending money. They're not going to go out and get a 9-figure contract. And, all these pitchers require it, if it's Michael King or, Framber Valdez or whoever it is. So Merrill Kelly, they're looking to fill, the Verlander spot. And I would expect they will leave the winter meetings with a pitcher. I firmly believe that. I think that's.
And here's what I was thinking too. Some of these pitchers also got some qualifying offers attached to them, which is going to cost you a draft pick and it costs you international money. And it's like, if you're gonna get a guy that has a qualifying offer, just get someone that's real. I don't know if I want to risk a qualifying offer on a gallon. No,
they're not doing it. They're not doing it. This team is not ready to win the pennant, and they're not. They know they've got to build from within. They know that. And I don't think they're going to go out and give up draft choices to sign Zach Gallen for 2 to 3 years. I think I've said this a million times. I think this is a learning year for Vitello, for the Giants, to see what this whole thing is going to look like and how he handles it. And I don't think they want to put that kind of pressure on him to bring in, all these big free agents and tell him to go win the pennant. This guy's lucky if he can find the ballpark. And I think they don't want to put the pressure on him. And I really firmly believe that. They'll give them the players, they can play, but they're not going to go overboard to give them the top tier players. I just believe that.
And it's funny, to your point here, because the organization, right? Greg Johnson came out right as the offseason was kicking off. We ain't going to spend a lot of money. on the starting pitcher, long-term, 9 figures. And then yesterday you hear the Giants are all in on the top arms, and you're just like, well, where is it? I mean, it's, of course, maybe it's just try to repair some of the damage that may have been done. You don't want to lose leverage. But look, they could go out there and do a trade. You could go out there and get a Peralta, right? I know Edward Cabrera is being talked about from Miami. I don't know about the Minnesota Twins. They said they're off limits, but we'll see what happens with that. But maybe we'll see something out there. And look, and I don't know what's going to happen with this. Detroit really didn't come out and say, hey, Tariq Skubal is going to be on our team next year. They were saying, we'll listen on anybody. And that's going to be interesting to see what, how does that whole Skubal thing work out, whether or not he's going to be moved or not. But I agree with you, Marty. I think it has to be a pitcher coming from somewhere, whether it's a trade or whether they're spending some money.
You need a closer, don't you?
Oof.
I mean, the Dodgers got Diaz.
Yeah.
We got.
I don't know. I don't know that. I think they're going to get a couple of relievers. I don't know that it'll be a closer.
No,
because there's not that many out there. I mean,
No.
Suarez is going to go here soon. I think somebody's going to grab him.
Kenley Jansen after that, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Pete Fairbanks.
Kenley Jansen, the numbers are there, but I know I was reading about him today. The hard hit rate is gone up quite a bit the last couple of years. That's a 1-year thing. I don't know. I think there'll be some relievers that come in, but I don't think there's going to be a big closer signing with the Giants. I don't. I think they're going to hope somebody emerges. The closer thing, that's a volatile thing, so that's what I think is going to happen there.
What about Tyler Rogers? Do you think they'd bring him, not to close necessarily, but would you bring him back?
Yeah, maybe. I haven't heard much about it.
No.
But again, that doesn't mean that, listen, these guys play it pretty close to the vest. And what we're hearing from national people, who knows? Like I said, that's that rumor versus reality thing that I talked. You just don't really know, right? But I think Rogers I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Truthfully, why not pay him for a couple of years?
Yeah,
I think he's worth it. I don't think he's going to lose it. It's not like a fastball guy is going to lose the fastball with a slider. I mean, he's got that pitch.
Yeah, you can't lose. You can't lose a rising slider, Marty. It's impossible. Once you have it, it's with you the whole time.
That sounds so weird. A rising slider.
It's one of my favorite stories. Remember Jack Cust?
Sure. Oh, come on. Are you kidding?
Great. One of the funniest guys ever. We were in Detroit facing Max Scherzer with the A's. I don't know what year it was. Scherzer was great, young, right? And Cust struck out a ton, right? He'd hit home runs. And Scherzer was just dominant. And after the game, Cust gets on the bus. He's got kind of a dry sense of humor. And he says, this guy was throwing a rising cutter. He goes, I have never seen a rising cutter in my life. And we went back and looked at the video, and it was going zzz, and take it off. Rising cutter from Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
You go. I always laugh about that, but
maybe they'll do a Rule 5. They do have an
Rule
open
5.
spot. So, and if, let's say, whoever has the first pick picks somebody in the Giants, then trade for that pick, if they really want somebody. We've seen that happen before. Yeah, that could happen. That could happen.
I think the bullpen is going to be a little bit of a work in progress, and I think they're going to look at a lot of arms in spring training. And I don't have a big problem with that, because I'm always a little skeptical if you spend a bunch of money on a closer, but then that's all you do down there, right? I mean, so we'll see. But the bullpen is interesting, and right now it's a huge question mark. And you know what? We may not know what that's all about for a while yet.
What do you think about Michael Kopech?
Yeah, I saw that today. Yeah,
I saw that too.
See, that to me, Marty, is maybe the kind of guy you're taking a chance on.
Yeah.
right? Because if there
Big
was
arm.
Novak throws hard, right? And
Throws
he was
hard.
a little shaky with the Dodgers, but that may be what you do, and maybe the guy's fully healthy and ready to get back. I don't know. I just think you can find something in a signing like that.
Yeah.
You got to get a little lucky, but
Hey,
yeah.
I would take him. I'd take him right away with that arm. That's closer arm stuff. That's big time arm, and it's just a question of command for him. And he was hurt a couple of times, and he just wasn't ready when he came back. But heck, that to me, that's a gamble that I would take.
Yeah. All right, so I feel like two big signings today, guys. With Schwarber and Diaz, and maybe that opens the floodgates a little bit, because that usually happens. There's usually a position player and a pitcher that kind of holding up the whole free agent trade thing, and maybe that door got busted open a little bit. I think one of the starting pitchers needs to, Cease is gone now. There's somebody's going to go here soon, so maybe the dominoes will start to fall a little bit. But let's start with Schwarber. 5 years, $150 million, back to Philadelphia. Nobody's surprised that he went back to Philly. I think of all the free agents out there, he was the one most likely to go back to his former team. It just seemed like the right fit. And Schwarber, 32 years old, guys, he's going to be able to hit for a while. I think he'll hit for the rest of this contract. And I saw something interesting, guys. He is right now sitting at 340 career home runs.
That's incredible.
Right? That's a little bit more than I thought. 5 years, if he averages 40 home runs a year, I don't think that's a crazy number. Do you?
No,
40
in the right park. He's in the right park. Yeah,
that's 540 home runs in his career. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It can happen because strikeouts are acceptable.
Yeah.
He can strike out 180 times or 200 times and hit his 40 or 45.
Or 50.
He can do it. He's that kind of player. He's in the right time of history in baseball to be doing that. And he's in the right park.
Yeah, he is.
I like him. The Cubs, everybody wanted him. But what it does is it keeps Alonso away from the Phillies.
Yeah.
Well, where does Alonso? I just think Alonso is going to end up like with the Cubs, or I don't think he's going to the Mets. I don't think he's going to the Mets.
I think something weird's going to happen with Alonso.
Red Sox, something crazy, right? Red Sox, something where he's gonna be in a good ballpark to hit in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see Schwarber? The Cincinnati offered Schwarber a cut. Could you imagine Schwarber in that ballpark? Oh my God.
But why would you want to leave Philly?
That's what I'm saying. I agree.
He can do no wrong. He hasn't paid for a meal there, and he won't pay for a meal there in 5 more years. And you know what? If they love you there, it's a good place to play. If they hate you, it's a miserable place to play.
And they're winning now. They're winning. They've got Dombrowski. They just signed Rob Thompson for an extension. They're going to do it. They've got Trey Turner. They got Harper. They want to trade Castellanos. Thank God. He's been just an albatross for them. Yeah. So they're going to do that. This Harrison Bader thing that the Cardinals. This is a team. Arenado, Harrison Bader originally was one of the Cardinals. You've got this Donovan, who I love. This Brandon is a Donovan. Good hitter. He's killed the Giants. I love this guy.
I think they would love to have him. A lot of teams would love to have Donovan.
Cardinals the Cardinals have to make room for these young players. They've committed to it. So maybe if the trade is going to go down, maybe it can be with the Cardinals. Maybe that's the one.
How about Brandon Lowe? I think Brandon Lowe from Tampa Bay, he might be a guy that's going to be part of some trade talk.
Yes,
confusing. It's too confusing with the Lows and the Lows.
I don't know if it's Lau or Low either.
I can't, Glenn. I don't know how you called the game with those guys.
You know what? Like I mean, with Lau,
how did you do it?
I wrote down HOW. LOW rhymes with how. But then it was like, well, wait a minute, what about Art Howe? Not how you doing, but Art Howe.
I don't know. Well, they got the one with the Red Sox.
Confused.
That guy is gone.
Nathaniel Lowe.
He was awful. But there's too many of them. I don't want them. It'd be too confusing.
Nathaniel Lowe.
I'm sorry. Yeah. If the guy hit 45 home runs, I don't want him. It's too confusing.
All right, so let's move from Schwarber to Edwin Diaz. He signed with the Dodgers, 3 years, $69 million. He's 31 years old. He's terrific, great slider. And I said this a month ago. I did a Dodger preview leading up to the winter meetings, and I think it's out now. It's one of my videos, but I said the Dodgers are going to make two big moves because they can. And I thought one of them, they're going to sign a closer. And I think they're going to sign a player too. I think somebody big is going there because you just know it, right? I mean,
you just know it
going there.
Yeah. Where does Kyle Tucker go? How about Kyle Tucker's the one for me?
I'm going to say Tucker, and I don't know this. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but I could see Tucker going to Baltimore because Baltimore and our last segment, guys, we're going to get to some of these teams that we're interested in. I think Baltimore is going to make a bunch of noise here. I could see Tucker going there. How many home runs did he hit there?
Really?
He hit 50.
You think the Cubs are out on him?
Yeah.
You think they're out?
I was listening.
The Bellinger Tucker thing, that combination, where do they go?
I don't know. Let's finish with Diaz, though, guys. I want to finish with Diaz because there's something that made me think about this. This is what the Dodgers can do that a lot of teams, most teams could do this, but I don't know that it's good business unless you're the Dodgers, okay? And this is what I'm getting at here, so follow me. Last year, the Dodgers needed a closer, right? And they signed Tanner Scott, the left-hander.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good lefty, right? Good closer with Miami and then with the Padres. They gave him a 4-year, $72 million contract to close. What happens? Tanner Scott was not good last year. Loses his closer shot. Didn't pitch in the postseason. So what can the Dodgers do? They can spend away mistakes. Last year, $72 million. He wasn't any good. Let's sign a different closer this year for $69 million. Not a lot of teams can do that. I'm sorry. Because I added it up in my little math head, you guys. That's $141 million spent in the last 2 years on closers by the Dodgers. But my point is they can do that.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter to them that the Scott thing was bad and what's it doing? Putting them over budget?
No, Kirby Yates.
Yeah.
Kirby Yates.
Who cares?
So now, fans may say, well, you know what? Teams can do that. They got enough money. But it's not a smart move for most teams to cover up a mistake with another huge contract. But if you can do it and it doesn't affect your payroll or anything, the Dodgers are like, whatever. Scott was bad. Maybe he'll be good next year, but let's be sure and let's spend again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Not a lot of teams are willing to do that.
No. And I thought $23 million a year for Diaz wasn't crazy.
Not on a 3-year deal.
Delvin Williams got 17 for his deal. Suarez is obviously going to get somewhere in between those two for his deal, when that's announced. That's what the closers are getting. And Jansen is interesting to me. Do you want to get involved with him? I don't know. I watch him pitch. He gets away with it. But maybe that's the kind of guy. Maybe that is a guy,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a ridiculous move because it's
1 year deal.
1 year deal for $8 million. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
So it goes badly. You're not getting killed with the deal. And he's a veteran. And you want a veteran at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You want someone who's been there before at the end of the game.
And maybe, maybe a guy like that, is he willing to help Ryan Walker get straightened out? You know what I mean? I think that's important too. Some guys would be like, no, I'm not helping out that guy. I'm trying to close games for this team. Or is a guy willing to say, hey, you know what? Let's get Walker back going too. We could be really good. I don't know,
So now let's get to something that could be reality. This outfield. What are they going to do here? And Glenn, you've been all over the Ramos thing for 5 months already. So maybe Ramos gets packaged with a Matos, or maybe Matos goes and Ramos stays. But something's got to happen with this outfield, right? Isn't there something?
Yeah, I do think so. I think, I think the Giants feel like with Jung-Hoo Lee that I think they feel like there's more there defensively, that maybe at times he was a little unaggressive, maybe a little hesitant in center field. Remember, he broke his shoulder.
Blew out his shoulder, yeah.
So I think they feel like maybe with Lee, there's more there defensively. And if there's not, if they don't see it in spring training, you could play him in right field, knowing that you have Gilbert and the kid they picked up from the Marlins, who's supposed to be a very good
Weimer.
Yeah. But the Ramos thing is a thing. And it's a tough call, guys, because you're like, well, does Ramos have the ability to get better defensively? He has a work ethic. He's a hard worker, but we saw it. It was a struggle in the outfield. So the Giants have to decide, is this kid, does he have the ability to get better defensively, to become an above average outfielder? Yeah, he's willing to put the work in, but you and I could put the work in, but that doesn't guarantee we're going to go from here to here defensively, right? So I think that's the tough decision. Do these guys, Ramos and Lee, do they have it in them to improve significantly defensively? Because if they don't, then you're going to see some of the same stuff. That's why this is a real tough decision. But there are still areas where I think they can get better. I think Gilbert if you're thinking about Gilbert probably needs to play, and Weimer needs to play out there somewhere. And you may be sacrificing a little offense, but the defensive thing is very, very important. And I think it gets overlooked sometimes. So tough question, Marty. And this is a tough decision for the Giants.
I like Bader. I always like what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy you like him and see him. He puts on a show at the game for you. He hustles and all that kind of stuff. He's kind of the Vitello talking about, we want to go all out, and be a more aggressive team. I don't know. I think he fits. Will Ramos's value ever be higher than it is now? Maybe this is the time to do it on Ramos. Maybe his value is highest now. If he has a mediocre year next year, strikes out a lot or regresses a lot, maybe now's the time you can maybe get something for him.
Yeah, that's a tough call, because that's a great point by Marty. But how can you not, as a GM, always think, well, if I trade a young player who has shown some talent and he's made an all-star team, right? You always are afraid they're going to go to the next level, make that big jump, right, and become a star player. But that's where you have to have the mental toughness as a GM to say,
why not flip him for Garcia from Texas, who they let go? And
his defense is horrible.
Move on Ramos and put Garcia in the outfield.
You could get Garcia they let him go. You
free agent, yeah.
But he strikes out a ton.
Is the option more of a trade? Because as far as free agents, it's Bader, it's Bellinger, and it's Tucker. And that's it. That's about it.
It's your two big guys, or a player that we don't know if he's an everyday player, but I think he's a good player in Bader. We just don't know if he's a guy that's going to run out there, 140 games. I don't think he is. He never has been, but I think he would be valuable. If you want to go there, we need our outfield to be good defensively.
He's a major leaguer. Bader is a major leaguer. You put Dean out there, Weimer out there, and Gilbert out there. You're putting basically defensive players out there. You don't know if they're going to hit at all. Maybe that's where you're going to go with it. I don't know. It all comes back to the new philosophy of this ball club, of what kind of team they're putting out there, what kind of pressure they want to put on the manager, and what they think this club can accomplish. I'll tell you another thing that you may want to talk about tonight or another show. The WBC. There are too many guys who want to be in the WBC for me. Does Logan Webb really need this? Does he have to get ready at the end of January and get ready to pitch 220 innings again? Do you need Jung-Hoo Lee playing in Korea? I just tell you, the WBC, I would prefer if the guy didn't play in the WBC.
Yeah, well, Edwin Diaz, remember, he celebrated, blew out his knee. He was out for the whole season.
Yeah. That's going to be a thing, and it seems like we're seeing a lot of names that are going to be playing in the WBC. I don't know if it's more than usual. A lot of big name guys.
Yeah, well, it's exciting now. The Ohtani thing with Trout. That was fabulous. It was great theater, but Logan Webb is your guy. And you want him ready, January 28th, or you want him ready, on March 25th.
I know. I saw where there was something about Chapman possibly, playing, and Adames playing for. I'm not sure what country.
They all want to play. They all want to play, which I don't blame them. No, I don't either. It's great exposure. It's fun, but you're facing 162 after that. Yeah. And it does take a toll. So I'd just say keep it in mind.
Yeah.
I prefer I'd say Logan Webb, stay home.
Let's call him. Let's on the show.
Position players, maybe not so much, but pitchers, I totally get it.
It's always scary. All right, guys, let's finish with this. Marty, do you want to read a sponsor?
Yeah. Okay. This is, Gene Bagato is one of our great friends up at Bodega Bay. So I spoke with him recently, and he said there's been some beautiful days up there at Bodega Bay. It's great to visit the Sonoma coast. It's gorgeous. At the Tides Wharf, the best seafood is available. I love reading these things when I'm hungry. It's waiting for visitors to enjoy either in the restaurant or to take home for later. If you're looking to get away for a night or two, the Inn at the Tides, with its spacious rooms, all with bay views, offers the perfect spot to escape from the stress of life and relax. So if you need a change and don't want to travel too far from home, remember the Tides Wharf and the Inn at the Tides in scenic Bodega Bay. And of course, Gene is involved with the fisheries and the crab season and all this stuff. The food there is first class, and the Inn at the Tides is a lot of fun. So he's been gracious enough to be supporting us for a number of years. So I'm glad to have him as part of the show this year. I am.
All right. So if I drop your name there, will I get a good seat at least?
You're going to get
kick me out.
You're going to get a crab with 14 legs. No, not just 7. You'll have 14 legs with the crab you get. Believe me. It'll look like the John Madden Traducan thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, Bodega Bay is a pretty cool place. It's a good little.
It's beautiful over there.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, come on, it's a lot of fun, and these are good people. So we're lucky to do these shows, and I'm glad to be on. And Glen's doing great, and Eric, you have the show, and it's fun. It's good stuff.
All right, let's finish this, guys. Let's finish with this. I want to ask you guys, winter meetings. I know there's only a couple days left, and we got a whole off season yet, but these are the teams that I think are going to do something big. You guys may not agree. I think Baltimore is going to do something really big because they got all these good young players. Remember, they were in the postseason, and then last year they just fell on their face. They need pitching. I can see the Orioles doing something big. I can see the Padres doing something big because they always do something big. I can see them making a couple big trades. Boston's itching to do something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Alonso or something. They're itching to, because they got good young pitchers that just got to the big leagues. And they got these young outfielders who I don't think they're trading, but I could see Boston, because Boston's on the way up, right? They're close to being really good again. And the Mets, listen, there's pressure in New York to do something. You know, last year they get Soto. They don't have a good year. They got some turmoil there, weird stuff with, you know, the second baseman and Lindor, you know, all kinds of weird stuff. But you know the Mets are itching to do something. And if they lose Alonso, who knows what happens. Bellinger, they like Bellinger. So I was looking at, you know, the team. I said, those 4 teams, to me, I could see all of them doing something big. You guys got any teams that you're keeping an eye on? Not just the next 2 days, but I'm talking about the whole off season.
Well, I think the Padres, for one, they're going to have to do something with the pitching. The other one is Washington. You know, Washington is talking about the CJ Abrams is a little bit of a head case, slight head case. He had some difficulty. Then he got suspended or something at the end of one of the years, or something happened with him. And then you got Mackenzie Gore, who's, you know, I think is terrific. I love the guy, but he was very good, bad last year. Yeah. They're talking about making some moves, Washington. So I think before this winter meetings ends, maybe Washington will be involved in something. That's one for sure. Yeah. Red Sox, I'm with you 100% on the Red Sox. They will do something. The Yankees, don't they have to do something? Can you just have Aaron Judge? I mean, you need some. You need the Tucker. You need the Bellinger. You need one of those guys. The Yankees should be involved with that. Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing a lot. Toronto is another one. They're coming off the high.
They're going to do something too. Yeah. Marte.
The other one, and I'll say it again: the Giants. They have to do something. They got to leave with Merrill Kelly, Chris Bassett. They got to leave with Michael King. They got to leave with somebody.
I'd love for them to sign Bassett. I think Bassett would be a big plus. People Chris. Look at Chris Bassett is still a good pitcher, and he's going to give you probably a 2-year deal.
They need to leave that Orlando with somebody. Yeah, they do. And it's great, the coaching staff, you know, they've got coaches all over the place, and they've got some good technical coaches, some analytical coaches there. They've got Brett Anderson's father as one of the pitching coaches. You know, so they've got the coaching thing okay, and they've got the mentors, you know, the satellite people all around Vitello. You know, so all that's kind of, now we're ready to play. Now let's get a couple of pitchers for this guy. Because they got to see Birdsong, Brubaker, you know, you can rattle off the names. Maybe it takes one more year to see if these guys can make it. I don't know. But they got to leave with somebody. Somebody's got to be added. Outfielder or pitcher. Somebody's got to be added.
Eric, give me a couple teams that you're going to keep an eye on.
I'll go one NL, one AL. Dodgers. You know, Dodgers became the Yankees of the West. And I think they're still going to – look, they're not done. You know they're going to come out here and it's either going to be a trade or they're going to sign somebody, because that's what they do. They got the money. They don't care. You said it. You know, you're going to spend 140 on 2 closers. I mean, they don't care. They're going to keep cashing the checks. And the other one is the Toronto Blue Jays, who are now the Dodgers of the West, because the Rogers Center, right, or the Rogers Group, they got a lot of money. Yeah. And they still got Bichette. Are they going to extend him? Or I should say sign him, or are they going to go after a Kyle Tucker? I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to see them sign another big bat.
You know,
Kyle Tucker is the one. Kyle Tucker's the name.
And I think he's one of those guys too. I think once he signs, you know, things will open up a little bit. But one thing that scares me, and you partially mentioned it, Eric, is the Dodgers going after Skubal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a real thing.
They could get him if they wanted to. Because you think about, they got these young guys, they got young outfielders close to the big leagues, they got these young pitchers, but then I'm hearing, what about Glasnow? What if you put Glasnow in a trade? He signed for 3 more years. Tigers would get a really good starting pitcher, even though he's hurt a lot. And then you give them 3 or 4 young guys. They could get him if they really wanted to.
I would vomit. I would vomit in my mouth if they went out there and said, because what are you going to do?
I'm telling you. What's worse, they could get him.
Shohei.
They could get him and they could sign him.
Yes.
That's the word. That's the double whammy.
Yes.
I don't think that's out of the question. I'm serious. I'm serious.
I think if Detroit moves this guy, it's a disgrace. This is a playoff team, and you're telling me you're going to move the best pitcher in the league? I'm sorry. Find another job. Really. It's not right. That's not right.
I don't know. I think it's very realistic thought. I do.
It is.
Yeah. No, the Dodgers have, the catcher, that extra catcher they got. They got another outfielder. You could Pajes. They could put enough players together. They've got them,
and they got their draft pick right below Eldridge, DePaula. They'll move him.
They got good outfielders, young guys in triple. Yeah, absolutely. I think they could, no question. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
All right. So now tomorrow, we wish Glen Kuiper a lot of luck.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Come on, this is a big deal. And he deserves it, and he's the right age. And you look at the guys who are up in that category; they've been around, but Dwayne's been around with them, and he's done a great job. So I hope that maybe this is the winter of the Giants.
Yes, that's right.
They're leaving with no players, but every award possible.
We got momentum.
Yeah, they've got every award possible, but they have no players. But for Dwayne tomorrow, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, the Ford Frick Award winner. I don't know if I guess they do announce it, but he will find out tomorrow morning. He said.
Oh yeah, they'll announce it tomorrow.
So we'll see. Fingers crossed. I think he deserves it. But he'll still sleep well tonight, whatever happens. But maybe he gets in. Maybe Dwayne gets in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
I should think so, but we'll see.
It's time. It's his time. It's his time.
And how about that? Have Giants all over the place. You got Kenton, your brother. Next year, you got Posey and Sabian and Baker. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Bochy. I'm sorry, Bochy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
So our fingers are crossed. Hey guys, great show. Thanks for joining us. Marty, your show's awesome. Eric, you know how I feel about you and your show.
Thank you.
So fun stuff. I wish we had a trade to talk about. I figured if the guys come on Tuesday, we'll have a trade to talk about. We didn't. But Marty, they're going to come home with a pitcher, I promise.
They will come home with somebody. And Skubal will remain in Detroit because I don't want the visual of Eric getting sick. That ended my night for me tonight.
The problem is it is a possibility. Hey, we got a super chat. Mr. Marty. Sure, my mama said agents we getting. All right. I don't know what that means, but
who knows?
Hey guys, thanks again. Let's do this soon. And Marty, I can't wait to sit in the dugout at Scotts Stadium and talk baseball with you. We'll be doing that before you know it.
A lot of fun. Okay, have a good night.
See you guys. Thanks for joining us.
Glenn. See you.
All right. Eric Romo and our good friend Marty Lurie, our guest tonight on the Glen Kuiper Show. And remember, Marty Lurie Show, Marty Lurie and Friends, terrific. He's got his own YouTube channel, just like we do here. And Eric Romo's, his podcast and a YouTube channel is Giants Sports Talk Live. Both good stuff. They do a nice job covering the Giants. So we appreciate them coming on. And I hope you enjoyed our talk. We tried to cover a little bit of everything, as we always do here on the Glen Kuiper Show. No trades for the Giants, no free agent signings as of yet. But we'll see if that indeed happens. I know I had told everybody that we were going to do a show tomorrow night as well. I think we're going to do a show Thursday night instead. So we will not do a Glen Kuiper show tomorrow, but we'll have one Thursday night. So we just moved it back one day, hoping that there would be a few more Giants nuggets to talk about. And who knows, maybe we get a Kuiper in the Hall of Fame, which would be pretty cool. But anyways, so again, next show will be Thursday night, and we will not have a show tomorrow night. So just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that. All right, before we head out, let's check in with our sponsors one more time. We'll start with Tilden Properties. We know about these guys. Bay Area-based, family-owned Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. By investing with Tilden Properties, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. Call Tilden Properties today if you're interested in investing, 925-209-8558. And we're also brought to you by the Carrick Real Estate Team. Whether you're moving up, downsizing, or making that first home purchase, trust the Carrick Real Estate Team to guide you home. As I've said, I used them. My brothers used them. Other family members have used them. Terrific people, family. They've been doing this for a long, long time, since 1978. Terrific people. They do a terrific job. Give them a call at 925-548-4132 if you're interested in buying a new home or selling your existing home. We're also brought to you by our newest sponsor, Partners Capital LLC. It's a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite performance and lasting peace of mind. With experience guiding not only professional athletes, but families next door as well, Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning, steady guidance, and a clear path forward. Your partner for a stronger financial future. Partners Capital LLC. Call them at 1-888-702-7443. That is it for the show tonight. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Good stuff going on in baseball with the winter meetings. Hopefully we'll have some good stories and some good action coming up on our next show Thursday night. So join us then for the Glen Kuiper Show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. For my guests, Marty Lurie and Eric Romo, I am indeed Glen Kuiper, and we'll talk to you on Thursday night. Thanks for joining us, everybody.